This is really frightening.
Sam Altman's company locked 2 AI models in a sealed room with their safety limits switched off. And both of them broke out and hacked a real company's live database. OpenAI confirmed that in its own blog post on last Tuesday, July 21st. And the line buried inside it, they expect this to become more common. Right as your company starts handing agents the keys to your production. Every "we use AI agents safely" story your company tells itself now sits on one assumption. The agent stays where you put it. That assumption just failed at OpenAI itself. The lab that builds the frontier model, running its own tests in its own environment. If it goes out there, what will yours look like? Here's what happened. OpenAI was testing 2 models, GPT 5.6 Soul and a more powerful model that hasn't been released yet. They were running with what OpenAI calls reduced cyber refusals, meaning they turned the safety brakes off on purpose to measure how good these models are at hacking. The test was a public benchmark called ExploitGym, a scored exam for breaking into systems. And the models were supposed to stay locked inside that Sandbox lab the whole time. A sealed room, basically for code, walled off from your real files and the open internet. That's the theory. Here's what actually happened. The models got out. They found a hole nobody knew about in some third-party software that OpenAI was running inside its own setup, used it to climb out of the sealed room, and work their way across OpenAI's internal systems until they had the one thing that we're never supposed to touch: internet access. Hey, I'm Edna, and I break down the top AI news that affects your career. Subscribe so you won't miss out. And at the end of this video, I'm going to walk you through the exact config that stops the same hack from happening on your machine. But first, you need to see how the agent got out of the lab, because that's the part that applies to you the most. So once the agent got internet access, the model made a decision. It reasoned that Hugging Face, the site where basically the entire industry stores models and databases, probably had the answer to that exam. So it went there and it used credentials that had been exposed somewhere previously, plus flaws nobody had reported yet. And it pulled the test solution and answer straight out of Hugging Face's production database. So what failed in this situation wasn't the model, but the sealed testing room. And it failed because it was built on top of some ordinary software that had a hole in it. Well, that's the part that everybody reported. Here's the part almost no one said out loud. The model didn't malfunction. It didn't fail. It actually worked. Think about what it was actually told to do. Not be safe, not stay in the room. It was told, score well on this hacking exam. That's what it was graded on. And the fastest way for it to score well on an exam was to get the answer as quickly as possible. Everything standing between the model and that answer, the Sandbox lab, the network rules, and other companies' security and credentials, those weren't safety features from the model's perspective. They were obstacles. This is the thing that should change how you look at every agent on your team. Your agent is not trying to be careful. It's trying to finish the task that you gave it. And whatever you put in its way, your security, your network rules, it doesn't read any of that. It doesn't care about it. It won't stop it. It's just one more thing to get around. All right, now let's read OpenAI's blog post the way a lawyer would. There are 2 sentences in there doing a lot of quiet work. OpenAI said, "We consider this incident to be an unprecedented cyber incident." Then went on to say, "This is something we expect to become more commonplace with the proliferation of increasingly cyber-capable models." That sentence establishes that this outcome is foreseeable in the future, and it is publicly disclosed, which means the next time an agent does this on your infra, under your name, the paper trail says everybody knew. You were warned, in writing. But there is also the timeline. Hugging Face spotted the breach and announced it on July 16th. OpenAI connected to its own models 5 days later, on the 21st. So when a bunch of security engineers pushed back on the story all past week, they weren't defending OpenAI. Their argument was escaped containment make it sound like it's a supernatural event, but it isn't. It was just a software with a known hole in it. That's it. It found a way out to the internet nobody closed off, and it used old passwords that still worked in the codebase. Nothing came alive. The setup was just weaker than anybody had anticipated. Supernatural isn't reproducible, but these 3 items are. Software with a hole in it, a way out to the internet nobody bothered to close, and old passwords and credentials still lying around in the code. And those things are also on your team probably right now. Here's the part that I promised you, and the fix comes down to one idea. Stop trusting the agent to police itself and let your computer enforce the wall instead. Cloud Code has this built in now. So let's get to it. Step 1, run/sandbox. A panel opens with 3 tabs in it. Mode, overrides, config. On a Mac computer, there's nothing extra for you to install. On Linux or WSL2, you need 2 packages, and the panel tells you if they are missing. Step 2, open settings.json file and turn on Sandbox, enable it to true. Now every bash command Claude runs and every process those commands start is inside that boundary, enforced by the kernel. Step 3, and this is the one that matters for the story we just told, network. Ask Claude to reach any domain you haven't listed. Watch it get stopped. By default, no domains are pre-allowed for the outbound. It's basically closed until you open it. That's the exact door OpenAI's model walked through. Step 4, credentials. Add a credential block that denies read on SSH and AWS credentials files and others, and also denies the environment variables holding your GitHub and NPM tokens. Ask Claude to concatenate your SSH key. Watch it fail. That is the second half of what happened at Hugging Face. Old credentials that still were running around wild. Step 5, the one almost everybody misses. By default, if the sandbox is missing some packages, Claude Code shows you a warning and runs your command anyway, Unsandboxed. But there are 2 settings that you can enable to get ahead of that. Fail if unavailable, enable to true, and allow unsandboxed commands, enable to false. And those are hard stops instead of just giving you a warning. You can do this in 10 minutes, these 5 steps, and don't let the next corporate update be a surprise to you. Hit subscribe now so you're the first to know. And as a thank you, meet my dog Kaden with 0 AI anxiety and 100% job security. Now that you know how to lock an agent down, watch this one video on the agents that keep working after you log off.